And welcome back, students. As we continue looking at Python, we've talked a little bit now with variables and strings, but now let's say we want to combine those two things. So let's say I want to output a variable, but I want it in a sentence format. So the way we can do that is by visiting our old friend concatenation that we used when we had strings. So let's just, for a simple example here, I'm going to create a variable. I'm going to call it number, and let's just set it equal to 5. I'm also going to have a string, let's just say greeting, and have it say equal the value of the number is, and we're going to put colon space, end it, and there we go. So I have right now a numeric value, I have a string value, so let's just output that. So I can just use a print, and I can say greeting plus number. Now, if I go to run my program, right now you can see I have an error. All right, and there is an error in here, and this is why I wanted to show you this, because you can't just concatenate straight away, because it says can only concatenate str, not int, to string. So while this might seem like the good way to do this, the actual way we want to do this is by using what's called a typecast. So I have to typecast number. I can't just concatenate it in straight. I have to put str in front of it. So if I put str in front of it, what that's going to do is say, hey, take this integer type and make it into a string. So now if I rerun this program, you see we get the value of the number is 5. So that's a small nuance that we have to keep in mind when we are working with programs like this. Because if I just did it before, when I just had greeting plus number, which you might think, oh, I'll put these two things together. Well, that might be the case like in some programming language like Java, I can just kind of do that. But in Python, I need to typecast that over to a string type because this is a numerical value and this is a string value. So I have to tell Python, hey, I don't want this as a number. I want this instead to be a string, so I can just output that. All right. That is probably the biggest thing out of this lesson here today, is to remember to do that typecasting. All right. So let me just go ahead and just do one more example with you just to kind of see how this might work. So I, of course, still have my number and greeting one here. So let's just go ahead and make another one. So I'm just going to call it number 2. And I'm going to set that equal to, let's say, -5 this time. And let's do a print this time. But I'm not going to use a pre-made string. I'm going to use one that's right in the print statement. The value of the number is, so it's the exact same string as what I have above, but I'm going to concatenate that with number 2. All right. Now, some people will notice, wait a minute. If I do this, I'm going to get an error again, which if that is what you were thinking, then you are correct, because even though I have not put this explicitly as a string here, because it's a string in the print statement, I still must convert number 2. Because if I run it, you will see that we are going to get an error. All right. It will put this out, but it's going to give me an error because, again, it doesn't know what to do with number 2. So let's put str in front of that, and so that will then allow us to convert that into a string. Then, if we run it, we should end up with the value of the number is 5, the value of the number is -5. And that's it, folks. So a quick lesson, and I will see you next time.